he was repossessing cars himself.
Yeah,
repossessing
yeah,
driving them out in the mesa and burning them.
Zombies, there's werewolves. We have, stuff for younger audience like robots and
It's pretty
aliens.
real. One of his first jobs was repossession of cars.
Nice.
So
I like that.
Or repossession of cars. We do that a lot in Albuquerque.
he did not
That's
like
mine
that.
now. Boosting. Yeah.
Get ready for hot takes and insight from local industry experts in real estate, business, and lifestyle. He used to play ball with the Padres. He played hockey for the Lobos. Now they're crushing it in the real estate game. Together, they'll showcase the best of the Duke City. This is All About You, ABQ.
Oh, that's right. It is All About You, ABQ, Season 6. Now, the goal of the show is to highlight the best of our city's industry experts in real estate, culture, lifestyle, so that you walk away with some value feeling inspired. Now, the way we like to do that is to answer the questions you may have or interview the guests you want to see. So we invite you to join the conversation. You can reach out on our social media up here or join our email list to get some timely tips about our community and real estate market. Hey, I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
You probably recognize Grant as the head coach of the University of New Mexico men's Lobo hockey team. Now he's absolutely crushing it in home remodels and home loans.
Yeah, we've seen Skip on HGTV's House Hunters, and he's part of the top 2% producing real estate agents in the city.
Damn right. Here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined in studio by Walker and Douglas Hinkle of Hinkle Family Fun Center, where we all grew up. We all got our first kiss, and somebody touched my J for the first time. But either way, excited to learn more about their business and some of the properties that they own in town that are absolutely crushing it as well.
Long-awaited guests. We've been working on. We've had some mishaps with scheduling, and by the time they were ready, we're like, oh my God, the studio's closed, and we're having his first bar mitzvah. So
yeah. That's always one of the hard parts about running a show is there's so many different things you have to be an expert in, whether it's scheduling, marketing, running ads, and just basically just looking good on camera, which can be a challenge.
Yeah, all our guests are always spruced up and they're looking forward to it, but a lot of times when we're ready, they're not ready, and there's a lot of moving parts behind the show, and scheduling is, to say, the bane of our existence on the show. We have so many people we want to interview, and by the time we're ready, sometimes they can't make it, and I know everyone's got busy schedules, and we don't pay any money to our guests, believe it or not. They're here on their own free.
Yeah, the sponsorship dollars don't cover private flights in, except for Ron Bell. We did fly him in first class from out of state.
And now we're broke.
Yeah. So now we're resorted to small local businesses. Yeah, Grant, dude, what's been up with you, man? We had a banger last episode, and now we've just been trying to catch up with all the viewer requests.
Yeah, so still, here's so much time's gone by, still working on that remodel, still potty training a puppy. I am exhausted sleeping on the couch because I always stay there with my dogs to make sure they're acquainted with outside and not going to the bathroom inside, because I have really well-behaved dogs at the cost of my body. You're not supposed to sleep on a couch for 3 weeks unless you're a high schooler, and those days are long over.
Just a big futon guy. Dude, in college, how many futons did you have in college? I had maybe every
enough
apartment.
To keep Country Dan's afloat.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the futon was always like a staple in every college dorm you go to. Most of the time we just found one in the trash. We're like, hey, this will go good in the living room.
Yeah, there's not that many fleas on this one. What always hurt on the futons is when you would slowly squash the material down, and then you'd realize that these steel bars are starting to be an imprint on my, and contribute to my scoliosis.
Nah, cured my scoliosis. I'm a straight up and down guy now.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, like I said, we've been up to a lot of different things here. As far as what's going on in our household, just a couple of tykes running around just getting norovirus, which, by the way,
it's the stomach flu, right?
It is. It's a 48-hour death camp type thing.
Did you get it?
Oh, the whole house got it.
You've been crumbled twice. Sometimes if I haven't seen him for a while, he's been like, just lucky to be alive.
Oh yeah, that was a tough one to survive. We had gone to one of these daycare facilities, or not daycare facilities, but not Hinkle Family Fun Center, but we went to one of these ones where it's about like a play cafe. And of course the kids are picking up all the toys. And then by the time we got home, everyone's shitting their brains out. And then I got it over the weekend, and it was like, I had to put my away message on in my email. Like, I'll talk to you on Monday.
I'm pretty sure when you go around people with kids, with me not, you just spin in a circle 360 while you talk to people with kids, and then you just slowly back away to the fire exit. Or you just you leave a little bit of room in your car window, or you talk to them through Bluetooth. Yeah. He's lucky I'm entering this right now, but I think every time he's been like, "Wow, we found a new strain of norovirus."
Yeah.
And you know when you're a parent, we call it norovirus instead of you go, "Oh, you got the stomach flu." I know what you've been up to.
No, it's very distinct.
Crawling on the carpet.
Licking doorknobs. Real estate market though, it's off and running. We've had an increase in inventory. We're up about 20% from where we were this time last year. But the crazy thing about our market is we kind of transition into a more balanced market. Is what everyone's talking about is, will aging baby boomers shift the housing market? The thought, of course, being that as boomers age out, their properties will become available. But housing market is at a crossroads. Boomers holding on to homes longer. Younger buyers are struggling with affordability and aging inventory that needs attention. So a study by mortgage bankers projects that only a modest increase in housing supply from baby boomers' mortality will add about 250,000 homes over the next decade.
Wait, locally or just
I think that's
across
nationwide.
the nation? That
Yeah.
is not very much at all.
Exactly. So boomers are staying in their homes longer. Median home tenure has doubled since 2006.
Well, so as opposed to them going into like a retirement home, is that how they say? Because we all know the other way you give up property is you die. But what are they saying?
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, I mean it's really going to only unlock around 250,000.
Well, over the course of how many years?
A decade. That's what
This
they're
next
saying.
decade.
That's what they're saying. Hey, look, let's dive into it.
Skip and I have always talked about houses, and we're like, yeah, it'd be nice to live there. And I go, at one point, we might be tenants of these houses, but as people live longer,
Well, here's the number. So 56% of baby boomers have lived in their homes for at least 10 years, compared to about just 7% of millennials. Boomers own a disproportionate number of larger homes, which is they're often, all the square footage is often underutilized by empty nesters. So they've been slow to liquidate their homes and downsize. And
sometimes they don't, though, right?
That's
I mean,
what I'm
that's
saying.
what it looks like. Is people have their forever home. They're really staying true to it. They're like, I'm not moving again. I'm 71. I'm not moving to grand piano. This thing is staying with the property. It's probably bolted down.
Yeah. So that's what we're kind of seeing in the market. Is that was always the talking point, is that once these boomers age out, we're going to see a huge flood of inventory. But this study says otherwise. So.
That was my thinking, and you have to understand also that sometimes these don't just go back on the market. It could stay within the family, and so these freeing up of houses. Maybe these kids, I'll tell you something kind of creepy. The difference between Heights kids and West Side kids is the West Side kids know we're not getting any inheritance. The Heights kids go, I can't wait for Grandpa Julius to die. Oh, you can't? That's kind of creepy. Yeah, we get his house. So us in the West Side, we have more of a heart. We don't hope that Grandpa Julius dies,
you
because
guys.
he's very dear to us. Is Grandpa Norris going to get the norovirus yet to end his tenancy?
Kids, let's go visit Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah. Take all the silver and put it back.
Yeah, well, what else has got you irked?
So I guess we should talk about, this is a Albuquerque platform, but let's talk about something that's kind of near and dear to us, and it's immigrants and some of the population in Albuquerque. So I'll probably rant about that. There he is. You can't smoke in here. Hell, I can't. So let's talk about immigration and how it affects us. And we've had a big onslaught of political ideology, and we got Elon in the helm with the shotgun also, and they're firing off proposals and immigration. And so here's where I'm going with this, because this is a national theme, but Albuquerque can speak to this. I've had I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of immigrants here who couldn't make it here through the right way. And so there needs to be some kind of reform, because I think we all have had testimonials of immigrants that want to do the right thing, did great work, had great work ethic, and weren't crime contributions to society. I think there has to be some kind of hybrid where we take people that have been performing and give testimonials from maybe business owners and such to maybe fast track immigration, because what we've been told is, well, it's really slow. Well, if we're having such a reform, why can't we reform some of the immigration policies and laws and maybe get these people fast tracked who have been performing, and say, hey, you have a proven track record of doing the right thing. We'll get you citizenship. It shouldn't take this long. And government has always been big, and we're trimming government, but why don't we take some subsidies, and get more employees in the immigration portion of our government. I think that would be mutually beneficial for them, and would probably show some people that say, hey, I tried to go through the right way, and this is what I was stuck with. Maybe if you show a proven track record now of immigration going successful, then you could have some immigrants maybe go that way, and it would curb some of the illegal immigration. So that's my take on this, but I do think it affects Albuquerque, and we do have some businesses that are in the gray area of needing that help. And I think that making them official give us tax dollars, and it would feed some money in the revenue that we could get from some immigrants doing it the right way. My dad only has his green card, and it took him a long time too, even from Canada. There you have it. It won't curb smoking, though.
No, that's some good intel, some good insight. I know that's a hot button topic right now, and I think everybody has that experience, especially living in New Mexico. Whether you work in a restaurant or work at, any of these jobs that you've had to, you get to interact with people from other countries and kind of hear their story and how they made it across.
They're a major part of our economy, whether someone wants to admit it or not, and you kind of have to go off the cuff and be like, we have a couple. It's acknowledging the fact that they're necessary. There's some necessary workers in our labor force. We've seen that our unemployment rate is so low, we can't even get some people to work at Subways now. There's some Subways that shut down. We spoke to that. We need some of this remedial labor, in which case people would be happy to be employed by that. And I think sometimes Americans are too good to do some jobs that some immigrants have no problem with. So, I mean, it's the growth of a lot of generations of families that have been successful and can point back to when, washing dishes or whatever. I don't think it's such a pejorative statement to say that's what your growth came from. That, sometimes we Americans can be lazy, and there's people that would pick that up and be proud citizens.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for change in mindset, and again, that's kind of the goal of the show, is to throw out some new ideas. So here's why you're going to want to stay tuned. We're joined by Walker and Douglas of Hinkle Family Fun Center here in Albuquerque, and then stay tuned to the end of the show. It's everybody's favorite, Skip's Tips. This is UABQ.
Hopefully it's miniature golf tips.
Back to UABQ. I'm Skip Adams, owner of Sold by Skip Real Estate Brokerage here in Albuquerque.
Grant Harvey, home loan expert.
We're joined in studio by Walker and Douglas Hinkle of Hinkle Family Fun Center, an American institution born and bred in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Provided by the Constitution.
Yeah, of New Mexico.
We have every right to have fun.
Guys, welcome to the show. Excited to have you. Now, I know we've been chasing you as guests for a while, and I'm glad the stars finally aligned to get you guys in here to talk about Hinkle Family Fun Center, because this is a place that we all grew up going, and we all have fun memories there. And you guys have been in the same location for how many years now?
31 years.
31 years up on Indian School and Tramway.
That's right.
And it's one of the places. It's one of the only places in the Heights that you can actually go and have fun with the kids. And but it's a great property and it's grown over the years. But before we jump into that, I want to get a little bit of a backstory. So Douglas, what is your backstory? So Albuquerque, born and raised?
My dad moved here in 1949 from Missouri, small town, 60 people. He came, he followed my mom out here. Her sister had asthma, so they moved here. He followed her. And then, of course, he ended up marrying her. And then one of his first jobs was repossession of cars.
Nice.
So
I like that.
Or repossession of cars. We do that a lot in Albuquerque.
he did not
That's
like
mine now. Boosting. Yeah.
That night repossession was no good. So he quit that job and went into real estate. And then he formed Walker and Hinkle Real Estate. Walker and Hinkle, and then they sold homes for long. Well, actually, he worked at Amusement for a while, for about 5 years.
Wow.
And then he went out on his own, and Walker and Hinkle, and then they did that for many, many years. I think, I don't know when they splitted. I think they split about 73, 74.
Okay.
And my dad formed Hinkle Investments, and at that time he also purchased partnership in the First National Bank building at Central and San Mateo.
Yeah.
And we were on the second floor of that building. And he had his own staircase out the back, so when he got served papers, so they came in, he'd run out the back door.
That's a veteran move right there. I love it.
Yeah. So,
have the secretary play defense.
Yeah, so we did that for a while, and then he moved to El Dorado Square, which was built in about 1972 2 or 3, and there was nothing at Montgomery and Wantabo but the school,
Right.
El Dorado High School.
I've seen pictures of like maybe it looking like the Sandia base has just moved down, right?
Yeah.
And Eubank having its own like, then turning into dirt too.
I'm not even sure that Tramway was at that time. I think it was dirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
And anyway, he started that. He built that shopping center. Had a couple tenants, and it was a struggle for him because he was way out, you know. And he hired me. Actually, I was a night guard there
Yeah.
because, you know, I mean, the kids would come there and hang out, and so there was the
Do some
problem with that.
skateboarding.
There's some bonfire.
I spend a lot of time there. I go to Planet Fitness there. You know, I'm
That's
a
it, yeah,
big
Planet
spender,
Fitness.
so I'm there every morning.
You
So
know,
I'm.
Dion's Pizza started their first pizza location
Is that right?
at El
That's
Dorado
pretty cool.
Square.
Trivia?
At 600 square foot.
Let's talk about Burrito Box.
And Burrito Box was on the
Burrito
corner.
Box is the greatest thing of all time.
Oh, they were busy.
Busy,
Cars
yeah.
lined up all the way around the building.
Oh.
You know, and
When they closed, a piece of me died.
And Dos Hermanos too.
yeah.
Were they there?
Huh?
What?
No, it's done too.
Oh, the burrito spot?
Yeah.
Well, when we made the agreement with Walgreens to allow them to build on that property, then the Burrito Box went away
Oh, yeah.
because that
was right in the driveway.
footprint took that away. You know, so that
Thanks
changed
a
the
lot.
shopping center.
That's corporate America.
Yeah.
You sellouts. Look at you
Walgreens.
over there just
Never
selling
be-
out
I'll
on your
never be
golden
back,
throne.
Walgreens.
So that's where that came from. And then, of course, he had Paradise Square. He'd also bought that, and you know, there's been a lot of history at that shopping center.
Well, you guys have had a foothold in a lot of the development in the Northeast Heights and just a part of a lot of family
Yeah.
stories because those are 2 prime properties and then including Hinkle.
We actually owned and operated Hinkle Homes as well.
Yeah.
That started as American Quality Craft Homes, which was the president, vice president from Presley Homes.
Wow.
Came to us, and we formed a company, and we built houses all over Albuquerque for about 10 years with them, and then they went off, and we then said Hinkle Homes.
What made you pick that part of that quadrant of the city, or that specific locations where you guys are at? Why were you a believer, or what was the
My
driving
dad
factor?
thought that was going to be the center of Albuquerque
Yeah.
when it moved north.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't end up being that way, but
But still, what a prime piece of property, and how it's heralded with people in the Heights.
Yeah, that's the center of my world. I'm there
Yeah.
every day. Yeah.
yeah. So you know, and when we started building houses, and we built so many houses all over this town. We were the first home builder in Rio Rancho that dealt with AMRAP.
Yeah.
That we built the first $1 million home, and Rio Rancho, down on the river, River's Edge 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3.
Beautiful.
We had a signed deal with them. They gave us all the lots on the river.
Wow.
Which I'm telling you, if you had those lots today,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
you'd be sitting pretty. And we sold them back then. It was a good price.
Yeah.
You know, we built all those houses, and we built all over Albuquerque, and we built in the canyon, and we built in the East Mountains, and we built in High Desert, and
Yeah.
Panawan.
Yeah.
You know, closed it down when the market went south, and then we decided afterwards it was time to stop building houses because the investment and the time it took
Your money
was not worth.
Yeah. Be placed elsewhere. Perform faster.
I mean, living with a homeowner for 9 to 12 months, having them call you
Every day.
hours a
Hey,
day.
where's my drapes? No, I get it. I get it. It's a whole process, especially navigating the permit business and getting it from the ground up, even the development stuff. But I think what's cool is you guys have a family story. But Walker, so you were born and raised in Albuquerque as well.
Yes.
Where'd you go to high school?
New Mexico Military Institute.
NIMI! Love it, man.
Yeah,
That's great.
Went as a freshman and graduated as a senior in high
He
school.
was a bad kid.
Four-year cadet.
He was repossessing cars himself,
Yeah, repossessing them.
driving them out in the mesa and burning them.
Yeah,
This
well,
kid, he's not
that's
what he
a rite
did,
of
but
passage.
I like to sensationalize these stories.
So NIMI, man, what was that experience like?
A love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
but
that's
it
what most
was
people
it was
say.
a fantastic group of of cadets and friends, and like the friendship that because everyone was going through the same stuff, so it was just, being able to have like your, the buddies that I created there are lifelong friends.
Everyone I've met there's been like a pretty upstanding guy. Like I compare it to Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts wasn't cool, and then the guys that thought they were cool in Boy Scouts that had to go through, you were kind of suffering too, and our parents are making us do this. Yeah. By the time we got our Eagle Scout, we're like, thank God we went through that.
That's right.
It was nothing I would place myself in, but you go, okay, those years are over. I'll reap the benefits of going through that, and you feel vindicated after now, but like the during was probably like.
For sure.
You shouldn't treat a kid like this, man.
Well, I knew it was a sentence for me. Like, there's no way I was gonna go home. Like, I knew for a fact, like, there ain't no way I'm calling home and getting out of jail. I knew I was gonna be there. So I kind of like embraced it. I'm like, I gotta enjoy this, and I really did. After a while, you get your rank, and you start being able to, have authority on different situations and do this and do that. So it turned out to be a lot of fun.
I think kids can be rather resilient when going through stuff like that, and sometimes people will baby kids and go, oh, you shouldn't act, but kids respond, and it's becoming like it's probably your structure now.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
There's a large part that you can attribute success and discipline to is going through that. And again, I would compare it to being circumcised because you're glad it happened after, right? You may not have liked it at the time, but man, was this okay now?
So is your wife.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so what was the transition then? So after high school, did you go away to college? Or you could just jump right into the family business?
Yeah, so I went to college. I went to Anderson School of Management at UNM and got my business degree because I knew I was going to be working with the family, and then I just got through in the Shark Tank, and they wanted. I first started off as a baseline employee because my dad and grandfather were like, you need to know what's going on.
Yeah, get out there and scrub
toilets.
So
I was a trainee from the bottom and worked my way up the rank and really learned the business at that point.
Well, what I like about you too is you're very detail oriented. I asked you a simple question earlier. Could my 3-year-old go on the rides? And you busted out from memory. Actually, you have to be 44 centimeters. You have to be able to weigh 36 pounds.
They got no HVAC.
So that speaks to you. You're very regimented and you know the details. And I think as an old man,
the details.
You're kind of at the age where you're like, all right, let's hand it off to somebody that's going to know all the.
I grew up in the hockey culture. You had kids that were like awesome, like yes sir kids, and you had some bratty kids due to like entitlement issues. And for some reason, I was getting ready this morning, and I go, I bet you this I say kid fondly because anyone that's younger than me, and I say, I bet you this kid has that good attitude that you see out of some family members, as opposed to some of the ones that are resentful doing family business stuff. Right? When they're entitled, they feel like, oh God, I have to do this. But you either are proud of your family's upcoming and what the legacy they left behind, or you're like, oh great,
here we go again, making millions.
I have to work for this. Like some kids can be really spoiled, and so then it exudes this like, hi, welcome to Hinkle. You know what I mean? I pictured you being full of zest and pride, having pride in family stuff.
Well,
I was right.
We've covered some of the properties that you have, but I want to dive a little bit more into Hinkle Family Fun Center, the property, just because, born and raised in the Northeast Heights, it was one of those things where we went to multiple birthday parties at Hinkle Family Fun Center. And I haven't been back because obviously I'm a 45-year-old man. You don't want me hanging out in the parking lot. But some of the changes you guys have done, when I first went there, you guys had putt-putt. Right? Am I allowed to call it putt-putt?
Mini golf.
Sorry, mini golf.
Yeah.
You guys had mini golf, but talk about how the campus has grown and what it entails now.
I'll let Walker tell you.
Yeah, well, it first started off just with arcade and miniature golf. I think it was only 18 holes. Was it 36?
No, it was always 36.
Always 36. So 36 holes of miniature golf, and then we grew into bumper boats and go-karts, and as well then the building that's on the west side of the parking lot. It's funny because a lot of people come to our facility and they never been to our laser tag building. That's where we have laser tag. It actually first started as Nickel City. It was a nickel arcade downstairs in the basement. And that's why I grew up playing Nickel City. I love Nickel City. And then, transforming, you always had to keep up with times, and we changed to a card swipe system, so all the, wasn't a token
Let's
arcade.
Talk a little bit about how the industry has evolved, because I remember, you had to, the gold tokens, whatever. How do you keep up with changing trends? Or is there like a convention somewhere that you guys all go and change notes?
Well, he puts on his golden hat, and then the idea is just soak in. Yeah.
No, there's a convention, a huge one in Orlando every year called IAPA, and that one is the trendsetter. Everybody's there, all the big operators.
What are some of the changes that we can expect coming down the line? Obviously, everybody's gone to mobile apps now. I would
They're going to do
imagine.
retinal scans for how many tokens you have.
Like, how do you
AI,
make sure that I'm not walking out with the wrong kid, stuff like that? Are there like
yeah.
security measures in place?
Not again.
Because I know
Get
at
out of
Chuck
the
E.
car
Cheese
seat.
they like stamp your arm with like some glow in the dark ink, and it has to match your kid when you leave. And I don't know if that's.
Well, we're kind of like an open campus kind of thing. We don't, when you walk in our doors, there's not a fee to come in. So, people can come and go as they
Got it.
please. We just train our employees, and that's one of our key mottos is safe, clean, fun. So we go by off that, and if we see something that's, doesn't look right or something, that we have our employees notify management. We have security always on property and take care of things like that.
I think a good-willed person can appreciate that. If there is any questioning, if I was a parent, I would go, well, that's awesome. They're making these provisions and measure to make sure this is okay. I wouldn't be like, this is my kid. How dare you do that? You go, I'm glad someone's looking out. What a nice change. Yeah, sure.
We have security there too, isn't it? We don't use armed security. We use the level 2, level 1, where they just have base and they don't, they're very laid back but they do a good job. And
Do you guys find you're in your industry, is it moving away from a cash business into everything's digital?
yeah,
now?
that helped.
Yeah, we actually we went cashless a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, which it was a difficult change to get through, but operating standpoint, it was awesome because I don't have managers counting money at the end of the night. I don't have money in the building. I don't have to look at cameras when the drawer's short and what happened to this $20 bill. Was it a mistake? Was someone putting in their pocket? Stuff like that. So we're cashless right now, and it's been real easy operation-wise, as well as safety of our employees. It's a tough town, and we've had it before where people pull guns on our employees.
We had 2 or 3 robberies, and that really.
I was going to ask you about that, but I didn't want to.
That sent us over the edge.
We've had
When
it.
they came in and pulled guns on
you believe that?
17-year-old
Can you believe that?
workforce,
No.
that was it.
Yeah.
We said that's it.
Well, the other thing that we were talking about off camera in a safety measure was the fact that you don't have alcohol. And I think sometimes it's important for someone to have a niche, and you talked about safety, right?
Yes.
And so when you ensure that, some people try to be everything to everyone. You guys go, our baseline is no alcohol. Take it or leave it. I don't think you have to worry about, well, what if the people want alcohol? Well, what about the people who don't want alcohol, right? I mean, if you're bringing a family structure, I don't think you're having Miller Lite nights on having the kid's birthday party.
Nickel beer night? Come on.
Yeah,
Bring back Nickel City with the kegs.
I want to talk about some of the things behind the scenes, because I think it's so fun that you guys have such a fun, entertaining campus with stuff, whether it's bumper boats, what was the other one? The race cars.
Oh,
the wall climbing. You have
cars.
all the stuff that the community wants, but getting to that point had to be a struggle. Talk about some of the challenges you guys had with getting permits and getting neighborhoods to sign off on having bright lights in their backyard, stuff like that.
It took a lot. It took a lawsuit, is what it took.
And go ahead and brag, because guess what, city?
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was a long battle with the city. It went on for about a year and a half, to almost 2 years. And finally, they lost in court.
Not undefeated anymore.
Civil
sucker.
rights violation. They had to write the check. And we moved forward with the go-karts at that point.
Right, and so one of the blockades, or I guess something the neighbors were touting was too much noise,
Too much noise, too much pollution, too much lights. It's going to bring too many people.
Too many moths.
Yeah.
Too many moths gathering around
all
the light
those
pole.
things,
Yeah.
it was just pile it all in there and then, go to the court.
And what bugs me about that is a civic-minded guy. You have these complainers have a big list, and I was talking to you off camera. There's a silent majority. They're yes people. They like it. The people that are the most boisterous about things that are negative are the complainers. And you would think they have this resounding population, but they don't. They are steadfast, and maybe 11%, 10%, but they're so negative. It gives them this superpower to just keep complaining. But overall, you could talk about the productivity and the positive attributes that this place had. What you provided, a safe environment for people to go. That's significant.
Not only that, but those same people, their kids came to get a job before any others did.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
they were working at the fun
Yeah.
center.
Your mom Patricia's
6
been a
months
real
later.
bee.
So that's funny. We've employed a lot of young people in that area.
You have, and they're all
over
they're
the
nice
years.
kids.
If thousands
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the main revenue streams that you guys have coming in. Because obviously, you can only collect so many nickels for go-kart rides. Where do you make the most money? Is it on birthday parties and field trips, stuff like that? Or is it just a whole conglomerate of everything?
Mainly our attractions and game room. That's where the majority of our income comes from, and that's what we provide that service of safe, clean fun, and that's what we like to go off. You can't make, and our goal of the business is making memories that matter, and you can't make a good memory unless it's safe, clean, or fun, right? So that's kind of what we really want a snowball effect on all of our employees, and you guys talking about employees and young kids. We have a funny business because probably 80% of our staff are under the age of 18. First-time job, so you get a lot of funny things coming in.
The Deons of entertainment.
Yeah, you get a lot of
exactly
drama.
right.
You get a lot of people that have never mopped a floor in their life, have never done this. So you're kind of training them to do that.
He can learn a thing or two at Hinkle.
But at the same time, it's so rewarding because you get to train this person that's never worked before and give them some lifelong skills. And I always tell my employees, I understand this is not your forever job. You're not going to work here the rest of your life. I understand that, but learn some things. Learn to show up to work on time. That's so hard. You don't believe how bad it is.
That's a good first memory for a kid. My first memory is I was a dishwasher and the guy pretty much locked the door until we were done. And my buddy had hot boiling water on him. The owner looked up, ate the rest of the soup, he's not dead, and finished eating. We were there for 22 hours, I swear to God. Chef Andre, I hate you. But it depends on what you think, employee, and maybe you have an example. It's like being coached by a good coach and a bad coach. You have this idea of how management should be, how the culture should be, and then if you have that in your head, you go, okay, now I know what to look for an employer. If you're used to getting abused, then you just stay in a dungeon.
You
and
end up
wash
on
more
this show.
dishes. Yeah. So that's a great first example. And again, I compared to the Deons. It looks like the kids at Deons are learning good lessons. I looked at they're nice people, and you guys are, I guess, comparable about attitude, service, and smile, and keeps the people coming back. And I've never met anyone that went, I'm never going back to Hinkle. Whenever we mentioned Hinkle, I said earlier, we have a smile on your face because you go, that's a pretty cool place. It's so wholesome. It's like, no, it's real. They will upkeep this, and next time you visit, they'll act like this too. One thing, the technology you guys brought in, they have this laser tag now with, you said 10D?
Yeah, 10D. It's our XD dark ride. So it's like I can say it now. It's like a roller coaster movie. So
butterflies right
sometimes
now.
there's zombies, there's werewolves. We have stuff for younger audience like robots and
It's pretty real.
aliens and stuff.
Wait, so they wear goggles, or this
No,
is just
it's
a big
it's
screen?
3D.
Glasses.
It's these glasses, and then you have blasters, and you sit in kind of a bench style seating, and then they move, and there's a huge screen that's bowed that has 4 projectors that projects on it, and it tracks
your laser or whatever.
Yep,
It's very similar
and then
to
you
VR,
can score points, and at the end you can see who's got the most points. And
I
it's
love
very
this.
interactive, a lot of fun. It's the only one in New Mexico.
Okay.
What's the age limit there?
There's no it is, let me think, on top of my head I had to think. It is 40 inches tall, and then you just have to have a parent say it's okay if you're going to watch one of the zombie films
Right.
or something. We don't
It's
want to
pretty
scare
real.
anyone.
Do your
So-
daughters handle that?
No.
Yeah, we don't want to do any nightmares. No
No,
nightmares.
no.
Okay.
So
Okay, and then one other thing I wanted to touch on is because it is in such a great location, Indian School and Tramway, but you own that whole shopping center, that whole parking lot. And one of the places I grew up was the movie theater there. And since it's fallen, kind of, I would say disrepair, but it kind of fell off the radar as a hot spot to be. Can you talk about if there's any changes coming to the movie theater?
go ahead.
Yeah,
Tell 'em.
so we have Regal left, and they went through that whole bankruptcy issue and everything like that. So one of our location was on the judge's list to eliminate, which
liquidated.
we were okay with us. We get control of our building back, and we were thinking initially maybe let's Hinkleize it. Let's do something. Let's put some attractions in there. Let's utilize this whole business. But then we were approached by Flix, and they were interested and say, hey, it's movie theater. Let's
really-
keep movie theater. So we have it now. It's going to be a Flix brew house on the east side of Albuquerque.
I'm glad the West Side got to be a first in something of privilege. And I'll tell you, as going to a Flix myself on the West Side, It's awesome. It was the mantra that the city has, or people have, like, oh, it'll never work. It does work. It's very effective. And there's a little spin on yours. This is a little bit more improved, right? Ordering on the phone,
yeah, it
swivel
has the new
tables,
seats, yeah.
velvet. No, just kidding. But I mean, it seems to be like they learned from this Flex and are going to do an upgrade, like a 2.0 version of it.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's funny that within 4 months of Regal going out, we were struggling with the bankruptcy, trying to get them out of the building, which that's hard. So
Because
finally,
the floors are so sticky in there. That's all I remember about that place.
Just the
floors were
petrified
so
dots
sticky.
to keep the place there. Like, we want to go, but those gummies are keeping
they
us
turned
still.
the keys over to us, and I swear to you, within 1 month, Rooflix was knocking on our door,
That's awesome.
and we had our first meeting with them,
Fate.
and we said, that's when we contemplated, well, do we
How much does it
remodel
cost to
the
do
building
what we want
ourselves
to do? Or
versus
Don't you think that offers yourself to maybe even like maybe conjuring up more business where they go, maybe we'll do this before the theater, maybe we'll come out, right? And kids are something that driving factor. You'll do anything to keep them like from crying or punching out your windshield. They go, oh, we want to go to Hinkle now. Like, what a good capture, because if you Hinkleized it would have been okay, but now you're having two revenue streams that won't cannibalize each other.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
Well,
right.
the parents may come and go to the movie and let the kids go to the fun center.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance
Yeah.
that we'll get that rub.
That's
Yeah.
why I think it will happen. Or I
Yeah.
think you have that in conjunction where
Yeah.
you have a whole afternoon. Yeah, that's
So-
you have something to look forward to now.
Yeah, finally.
One thing. Now he'll finally get out
Yeah,
of bed.
no norovirus. Well, listen, Walker, Douglas, I really appreciate you guys coming in. Like I said, Hinkle is a great name in town. It's nice to put a face to the name and see that it is a wholesome family running it.
Lobo
And
hockey
so-
supporters too. They've been to the golf tournaments. We appreciate them. Good guys.
So we'll obviously have links to the website and how we can book parties and kind of help you guys grow as well. So we appreciate
would be
you guys
great.
coming in.
Yeah. Thank
Awesome,
you guys.
awesome. Coming up next, here's where you're going to want to stay tuned. It's everybody's favorite Skip's Tips. This is UABQ.
Welcome back, segment 3. Thank you for Walker and Douglas coming in here. Thank you for the mugs. We got a couple golf sessions in there, so we're kind of rich. This is a start of our first sponsorship, but appreciate the mugs. And now we're going to get into the other portion that is seeking sponsorship, Skip's Tips.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, it's Skip's Tips. Anything that saves us time, makes us more money, or allows us to have more fun in real estate or in real life. Did you know a quality kitchen is the key to winning over buyers? Let me explain. See, buyers in the housing market are attracted to one thing, and that is a quality kitchen. The numbers say that the kitchen is the thing that puts that buyer over the edge and causes them to make the offer. Case in point, small changes matter. Whether you're updating the hardware, putting on a fresh coat of paint, or updating the light fixtures, buyers will take notice. And those larger updates, whether you're putting in that kitchen island, new countertops, or taking the time to update those appliances, will pay off big time at the closing table. Remember, even minor improvements can sway a buyer from house to house. So, what's your experience been in updating your kitchen? Share this with a friend and tell them Skip said so.
Oh, yeah.
Great tips.
So I wish we had an episode of just pure bloopers. Skip at one point was talking like one of the Three Stooges. He's like, oh, they got a noise kitchen. Oh. The other bloopers, my glasses keep disassembling every episode. I've got this sharp piece of metal gouging the inside of my nose, and we had to take breaks because I was bleeding to death. When I sit here, I guess my Grant rants are so animated that everything just comes apart on my face. So you'll never see me again.
You all right? You all right, bud? Every Wednesday night, Sunday morning on the Education Channel, worldwide on YouTube and Spotify.
I'm slowly dying.
This is all about you, ABQ.
I'm running out of blood.
You're watching UABQ.